gets his first win in a close game. Tonight, we break it down and get you ready for the second half of the season. Jeremiah Searles is our guest tonight. Jay's going to break down the big plays in the huddle. Sean is talking recruiting as we say bye to the close game losing streak and hello to the bye week. It's time for Big Red Wrap-Up. Hi everyone, I'm Michael Severe and welcome to Big Red Wrap-Up on Nebraska Public Media. For the first time since 2014, Nebraska starts the season 5-1, and we're going to talk all about it. Joining me tonight, former Husker Jay Moore and Sean Callahan. You know, we talk a lot about 2016. We're always saying 2016, but obviously that was 7-0. 5-1 last year at Bo Pelini. You look back at years like that, and you think that was just the norm. This is not the norm. Your feel coming off the game against Rutgers?
You know, my feel is this team is vastly improved. I think there's obviously aspects of this team that needs to be, that there's issues, right?
Yeah.
And that's special teams. I think any normal football fan can recognize there's issues on that side of in that aspect of the game. But to me, what I've taken away from the last two games, the Purdue game and the Rutgers game, is with the special teams issues, getting 2 field goals blocked, getting 2 punts blocked. The statistics are so against you when winning those type of games. Yeah. When you have special teams issues of that degree, that you should lose those football games. Yeah. But they found ways to win. In years past, Nebraska would have lost those games.
Sure.
And I think what I've taken away, through these first 6 games, is Nebraska is finding ways to win football games instead of losing. And they're gritty, right? They're playing gritty football. It's not pretty, so it's been. I'm very encouraged through the first 6 games.
If we leave out special teams, though, the biggest concern is run game, right? Because you go against the 2 worst run defenses in the Big Ten, and you really can't run the ball that great.
Yeah, Nebraska tried every way possible to run the ball, and they were far under 4 yards per carry with their 3 tailbacks. And we've seen glimpses at times of what this run game can be, but it just hasn't been there for 4 quarters.
Right.
We've seen Dowdell pop. We've seen Emmett Johnson pop at Purdue. He didn't have a great game against Rutgers, and Rahmir Johnson has kind of established that role. I mean, I think the best thing those backs do has been receivers and what they've done on the screens and the check down plays. But in terms of just the consistency that they need to get that 5 or 6 yard run, it just hasn't been there. And when you start to play in the month of October and November, it needs to be there.
So I'm glad we have an offensive lineman on to talk more about it being the running backs than the offensive line. We'll get to that a little bit later. There's lots to cover tonight, and we can't do it without you. We have our phones standing by and you ready for your calls. You can also text or email us your comments or questions to bigred@nebraskapublicmedia.org. We're also monitoring our social media accounts tonight. Send us your thoughts on our Big Red Wrap-Up Facebook page or X account, and we will answer as many of the questions as we can. Last week's sideline survey, as you can see, 38% said hoping that Hull gets better when they get inside of field goal range. The people who said just go for it, I think that wasn't a bad decision either. That's pretty good. Now this week for all new sideline survey, what range do you think Nebraska will finish in the Big Ten? First or second? That's going to a Big Ten championship game, 7%. Third through 8th, bowl bid, 82%. 9 to 13, borderline bowl, 10%. And 14th through 18th, home for Christmas. That would make Sean very sad. All right, let's talk about these close games. Eventually, regression's going to come. Mm-hmm. It happened under Bo Pelini where they struggled, and then all of a sudden, like 12 in a row, they won like 10 out of 12. You feel that they're on the verge with this team of kind of getting over that hump?
Yeah, that 1-score loss hump. Yeah, I think so. I think the main thing is what's going to help this football team is they're starting to take care of the football.
Yeah.
The turnovers we're winning the turnover battle. I'm not, off the top of my head, I'm not exactly sure what their plus so far in the year.
6.
But it's vastly improved from where we were last year. So that's going to help. Quarterback plays vastly improved. I think the defense is cleaned up some issues they had earlier this year. But still, the thing that's still scares me, I've already hit this, was the special teams. But it's going to be a game-by-game scenario. But I tell you what, just taking care of the football is going to help you win close games more times than not.
Sean, you look at the way they're playing defense, and I know the analytics numbers aren't great, but if you look at just overall, Nebraska top 15, they're top 6 in terms of points per play. They're in a really good spot right now. I know they haven't played high-powered offenses, but so far they've done what they're supposed to do.
Well, Colorado, I'd call a high-powered offense.
Well, back then they weren't as good as they are now.
But
they're running the ball better now than they have.
They got
in
the
2
balance.
years.
But Nebraska leads the Big Ten right now in sacks. They lead the Big Ten in tackles for loss. Ty Robinson and James Williams are one behind the overall lead for individual sacks
Yep.
in the Big Ten. So they're on a pace to each have 8 sacks right now. And then they've got other guys behind them like MJ Sherman that have given them some pass rush. So all the metrics are improved. I thought the comment after this Rutgers game that really got my attention, Greg Schiano, a known defensive mind, an NFL former head coach, said that Nebraska has one of the 5 best interior defensive lines in the country.
Wow.
And that was his post-game remarks after that game, that he goes, we couldn't block those guys. Nebraska is full of big men. It was his comment after the game. Kind of reminds me of some of the comments you hear when Jay played at Nebraska when it was Carricker and Moore and Bradley on that D-line. I mean, people just couldn't block those guys back then.
Yeah, out of everybody that had a good game, and there were a lot of people, Nash, again, you don't see a ton of numbers, but he was in the backfield almost every play.
Yeah, it's his ability to play so well at the point of attack, but get skinny and be able to move his body at times really goes. I think I noticed it as defensive lineman. I hope people realize how good, what level he's playing at, because I mean, getting sacks. He's got multiple sacks this year as a 0 technique, a shade, a 1 technique. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Rarely. It's the being able to be the wrestler, understand how you leverage all those things. He's playing high. Ty's playing great. This D line is. I mean, the front 6-7 guys are playing much improved from that Illinois game.
And how nice is it to bring in a guy like James Williams when the offensive line is a little tired, worn down? You bring in his speed in the second half.
Yeah, give Tony White credit. He tuned up some things with the scheme. He brought an extra jack down at the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
and kind of got bigger up front. I think the Illinois and the Northern Iowa games particularly, showed some flaws with the scheme, and they addressed those flaws. When they play a heavy team like Rutgers that wants to run it, they adjusted what they did. And then once Rutgers was in a situation where they had to pass, it was James Williams and Prince Umanmielen go after the quarterback. And you saw that Nebraska get great pressure. That was one of the best pressure games we've seen from an edge guy at Nebraska, arguably since Randy Gregory.
It's a good call with that. And then you look at bringing Van Poppel in, who we thought maybe would redshirt, and I know he still has the opportunity to do that, but there were 4 or 5 plays where he didn't necessarily make the play, but he was the reason somebody else made the play.
Yeah, it's all being strong at the point of attack, setting the edge, eating up a double team, letting those inside linebackers come make the plays. I was very surprised to see 44 out there and Riley Van Poppel, because you heard he wasn't going to redshirt, but when he was thrown in there, he was solid. He was very, very solid. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out for his situation the rest of the year.
Anytime 44 comes in, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact.
You like that guy.
Yeah, he looks pretty good in it. I'll give him that.
So Nebraska is still sitting at about 129th efficiency-wise special teams. But let's talk about what Buscemi did. Boom Buscemi did on Saturday to help win that game.
Just that win alone, we hear about the win and it's a factor, but that was as big of a factor as you're going to see. And to see the wind shift from out of the south
that was crazy.
to out of the north, and it was more of a cross north-south wind. It wasn't a straight wind. So then it caused a bowl effect in the stadium where you saw the swirl. Yeah. Having Brett Maher next to Buscemi and next to these kickers is such a weapon. Pre-game, you saw Maher, talking to Buscemi, helping him kind of coach the different punts with the winds. He's punted in this himself. He understands how to play this stadium, and that punt that he made here that iced the game, not this one, but the next one.
Right.
They rehearsed that punt actually during pregame.
I saw them, yeah.
And that was the last punt they did, and that was the punt right here that ends up winning the game for Nebraska, and that was the exact same one Brett Maher walked him through right before the game started.
It's home field advantage. Rutgers didn't realize it was going to switch like that, so they give Nebraska the win, too. Not only do they take the ball, but they get the win, which was a benefit, obviously, to the
I was thinking that, I'm like, oh, you say you start the game, like, God, Nebraska's not going to have the win. But I'm like,
no, it switched.
It switched. I'm like, oh, well, this was working out in our favor. So that was next level, forecasting, weather research. And maybe they didn't realize it. Maybe I'm getting too much credit to them. But yeah, punting that stadium, kicking that stadium it's always a very unique deal. It's just the swirls and everything like that. But his ability to flip the field, but that fake punt helped them kind of back off a little bit on that last one to give him more time just to kick that 69-yarder to seal that win.
And at halftime, they rehearsed the fake punt. So one of the things you'll see Matt Rule's teams do, they go out to the practice fields, and on a play like that, Buscemi wanted some reps. He's like, I can't come out and do it on the field, everyone's going to know.
Bad back.
So he went out there and practiced that throw multiple times before they came back out, just to make sure they had it down. Because once they saw that Rutgers was bringing everybody and not covering the Gunners up, they're like, well, we got to call. And that's really what it comes down to. Rutgers was bringing more people than Nebraska could block. And when they're going to leave Jalen Lloyd wide open, you better be able to make that pass.
Well, you heard Rule say that they almost did it in the first one because they had seen it on tape, and it almost did it on the second block as well. Let's talk a little bit more about the way Nebraska offensively doesn't necessarily block great for the run game. For most of the game, it was pretty good pass blocking, but late, all kind of pressure from Rutgers.
Yeah, I tell you what, they did some things, ran a couple games. I thought Dylan looked more human in this game too. I think his pocket presence just wasn't as good. Got a little gun shy, I thought, after that first interception, or the only interception he threw. So his presence overall just was a little off after this pick we see here on the screen. But yeah, the pocket was, they ran some games, they ran some ETs, some TEs and stuff like that, and they just didn't pick him up. And that's just going to happen throughout the course of the game. But it just seems like, again, we're in this scenario of why is Nebraska struggling so much in the second half when they have a first half lead? And there's one of the games they ran there and just got beat. Listen, it's going to be a game by game scenario. But I think Dylan's got to do a better job of recognizing pressure, stepping up in the pocket, and maybe getting rid of it a little quicker.
He didn't pull the trigger, too, and I think the wind kind of got in his head a little bit. I think he threw a couple balls. They didn't go like he thought he would, because that last play we showed in that sack, you have Barney coming across. He's open in the flat. He would normally get rid of that, but he thought for a second, held it, got sacked. I think the wind kind of got to him a little bit.
And, guys, you look at the stats here in the second half, that 3 of 10 for Raiola, he was 2 of 9.
Right.
For just 14 yards passing.
Right.
And so everything just fell apart. And I think with Nebraska not being able to run the ball, especially with a numbers advantage. Rutgers was playing safeties high. You should be able to run in those situations. And Nebraska couldn't move them up front. So then Rutgers really had the advantage on the back of their defense. And Dylan Raiola, nobody is open. Greg Schiano really gave Dylan Raiola looks that he had trouble with, and they brought more pressure as well.
I know people say that they always say no one's open, but almost every time there's somebody open immediately, and if he is the normal Dylan Raiola, he makes that throw. But just for some reason, and maybe it was the interception, as you said, maybe that kind of threw him off.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit, right? It's the wind, the interception. He was off, man. He's been so good through the first, 5 games that, listen, I mean, he's, like I said, he showed some human, he's a freshman, right?
Right, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. But yeah, he missed, Emmett Johnson was wide open at one time on a wheel route going into that north end zone, missed him. Things were just a little off, and that's going to happen. But like Schiano knows what he's doing too on that side of things. Yeah. So we got to give credit to Rutgers as well. But field position does matter for this offense. I mean, they were pinned. I don't know what the average starting field position was in the second half. Wasn't great.
But 3 times inside of 10.
Yeah, so that's hard to get offenses going. I'd like to see Dowdell break that one on that first run play of that one. It was really close, but that factors into the offensive struggles too.
How different is the game if Dowdell does break that, or if Lloyd makes the one guy miss on the fake punt?
Yeah, I really thought Lloyd should have scored. I mean, essentially he
thought so too.
One guy he had to get, and that guy got a good angle on him, but that should be a touchdown. I mean, when your fastest guy on the team, has the ball and you just have to make one move, that ideally you'd like to score in those situations.
Yeah, I saw him score a lot like that in high school. Let's go to Saturday and take a look back at the highlights from the win. And it wasn't just the highlights in the game. One of the big highlights was Ndamukong Suh running out of the tunnel. Fans were going nuts. They love seeing Suh. He is the last great player for Nebraska, so they love seeing him. That was a 4th and 1 conversion early on, but then you had the block punt. I did not think that he would come back after this hit. Did you guys see him laying there? Do you think he was gonna get up?
No, he took a shot here.
Jackknifed his body.
Yeah, it's.
And Camden Cook would have probably been the next man up.
He was ready to go. He was out there practicing. Here's your fake field goal. It took way too long for them to run that. They held for like 10 seconds.
I see what they saw. Nebraska kind of does their prevent on that side. And a little gap opened up. A good job by Hartzog recognizing that.
Yeah, and John Bullock, too, filled that hole, too. One of the big throws early on, going with the win. Got lucky here because Rutgers gave him that. And then one of the biggest plays of the game, Rahmir Johnson, who is so good on these passing downs.
New Jersey guy, too, for Nebraska. Just to make a play like that, I'm sure it meant a lot to him.
I think a lot of people in the stadium thought Fidone scored here, but good replay. His left foot was out. They come in, they go all the way to 4th down and goal, and Dowdell goes to that right side.
Similar play they ran against Purdue in 4th and 1 scenario, too, just that off-tackle power play. Good execution.
Alec Madness has been around for, 7, 8 years in college football, and early on, he actually made some really nice throws, but by the end of the day, 15 of 37, and here's the win. You can see the ball move to the right or left and hits the upright.
I'm surprised they kicked there, really. I mean,
50-some yards.
I mean, that's just not, in that win, you're not making that kick.
Yeah, he had to play it. That was a high snap on this interception. You think that threw him off a little bit?
Potentially, but it was a
RPO.
quick, it was a quick 1-2 read and just didn't see the linebacker sitting there.
Big sack right there by Ty Robinson. We mentioned 3 sacks on the season. He's been having a great season the way he's playing. And here's Alec Madness again. This time gets intercepted. Early on, Buford, the first half, had a great first half. He had a couple pass defended. He almost had another interception. And then the second half's a little more struggling.
He fell down, and they got lucky
Yes.
on that one. And Coach Rule had to kind of talk to him. You saw that on the sideline. He had to settle him down.
Yeah, that was Ben Black, who ended up actually scoring the touchdown a little bit later. There's another good completion there. And then this is following your blockers, right?
Love this play. They ran this a lot. Nebraska's ran this play a lot. This is perfect timing and patience by Ramir.
This is the second time they've run this play to Bonner inside the red zone, 2 scores.
Yes, I love the setup. Formation into the boundary. Defense has got to be on high alert in that situation. But a good job by Evans pulling and then Bonner out running, getting the edge and getting the second and last touchdown for Nebraska.
And a decoy, Ja'Cory Barney.
Yes, definitely. People know it's coming now. Great interception by Sierra right here. Watch the ball in the replay. When he tips it, it's kind of starting to head towards the ground, and it's almost like instinctual. He just throws his arm back right here and just kind of brings it back to him. Somehow it stays off the ground. It's incredible.
That was DeJon Gomes-like right there.
Good call. That man was a ball hawk. And here's your pooch punt to end the first half. Worked out perfectly for them because they could just let it sit there and the clock ran out.
Yeah, have you seen this? Was that second or third time
Second
we've seen
time,
Dylan do that this year?
Yeah, the other one was
Do
a
everything.
touchback.
Yep.
That was much better. Here's Buschini, the second block of the game, and what a great play by Bokacher here.
Yeah, this is big time. This is the play. This is the series of the game. I mean, this is the game. They skip 7 points here, 6 points. The game is completely different.
Yeah, 5 plays because this one doesn't count with the holding. One of them, I thought that they scored. Right, I thought it was really close, but then on the replay you can see the knee down. It wasn't a touchdown. And then Nebraska just took care. And what a great play by Singleton, reading the pass. This next play.
And they do this. They did a similar motion on the run. They thought they scored, but a vast improvement from Illinois, where they kind of like to get you in the crossers and in the rub routes. And it's funny in this play too.
Pick six.
It should have been a pick 6, and it should have been offensive pass interference. But
Yeah, they run the pick, yeah.
Yeah, but great play by Buford.
And then in the second half, they got to Alec Madness several times. Nash got to him there. And then we brought it up. James Williams, redshirted at the end of the last year, but man, he is really stepped
Sack
up.
man is what they call him,
The
and he
sack
came
man.
up big.
How about the emotions he had at the end? There's your fake punt. You mentioned there were some people in the concession stand watching them practice on the grass field, and people were tweeting it out that maybe they were going to run that, which was kind of interesting. And here's where a lot of struggles. He had 3 late sacks on Dylan.
Yeah, there's a game they ran up the middle there. Tough job to be able to step up. And I think we forget that Dylan had the intentional grounding too.
Yep.
You know, that probably factored into his
Late.
mind too of just trying to get that ball out and just didn't want to make a bad mistake.
Yeah, here's the play that gets them out of the goal line. This is Buford getting kind of beat on a go route.
Into
but
the wind.
Into the wind. It was a great throw. I mean, the man, again, he's been in college since the 1980s, so he should be able to make some throws like that. 4 sacks, though, we mentioned Nebraska got on the game and was sacked 4 times as well. Here's a nice first down on the drive they end up scoring on. I thought what was interesting about him in this, I thought he was better when they were going with tempo. Like he was a better quarterback because he played tempo in the past. And this is a play that Buford almost
Yeah, he tipped
knocked
it.
it away. Yep.
But a good job by Black in keeping his concentration. And
The key is nothing came easy for Rutgers.
Nothing.
I mean, that
Exactly.
touchdown was hard. Nebraska's defense was on their cues.
That was the play I was talking about where you have Barney coming underneath. He's got to make that throw quick, and for whatever reason, he decided not to make the throw. And then here's a 69-yard punt that pretty much seals the game.
yeah, getting the win a little bit and just absolutely sends it and getting the ball here at the 11-yard line, and then Nebraska defense and James Williams steps up big.
Yeah, he doesn't get the sack on the last one, but he gets the pressure. He's got 2 sacks. He's got the pressures. He just had an outstanding game. Did Buschini win the special teams player?
Big Ten special teams
Yeah.
player. And, it almost looked like on that last one that his knee was down.
I thought so,
They
too.
could have given him a sack credit for that.
Yeah.
Which, could be leading the Big Ten if they counted that as a sack. That was a big way to win that game for
Yeah, I
Nebraska.
think great emotion from James Williams. Here's the final stats. It wasn't pretty. And the last time I looked, there's only those 2 categories, wins, losses. There's
Yep.
no pretty wins, ugly. There's none of that stuff. And so Nebraska takes care of business and wins the game. The players of the game judged by us, you got 3 of them. Got Brian Buschini, for an incredible day. 50-yard average on the punt. Ty Robinson, who was wrecking Rutgers' offensive line the whole day. And we mentioned James Williams as well as he played. Great to have him there coming in late in the game and taking over. Time to dive now into the playbook once again this week. And we go into the huddle with Jay Moore.
All right, guys, welcome in the huddle tonight. We're at two big plays of this game that kind of switched the whole outlay of the game. So this is the Bonner jet sweep motion touchdown late in the second quarter. So from a defender's perspective, this is how I see it. Anytime formation's into the boundary, ball is on the left hash, boundary to this side, formation to the boundary, something's different's coming out. Why normally the formation might be towards the field, but to me, something has got to come this way. So Rutgers should be thinking that. I don't know if they were, but just in my defensive mind, that's what I'm thinking. So Barney's going to go in motion here. They're going to pull Evans around. Nice little action here by Dylan, handling the ball, the footwork with it, almost like a little fake dive toss to Ramir to get the linebackers going one way. It's going to hand it off to Bonner right here. They try to seal the edge. Evans does a good job trying to climb second level. Bonner's going to bounce it here. But what I love here is the freshman Barney coming up here on that motion, and he's not scared of contact now. We've seen it all year. He puts his helmet right here on this DB, shocks him. He's able to not come off. Bonner does a great job of getting to the edge and getting the second touchdown for the Big Red. All right, this is the fake punt. Obviously, Nebraska had issues, special teams, right? 2 punts blocked in this game. But this helps kind of back Rutgers off in this situation because they're bringing a ton of guys. You can see here, they got a bunch of guys coming. And Nebraska got exposed a little bit, but hey, let's throw a counterpunch to what they're trying to do to you. So Jalen Lloyd's down here at the bottom on the numbers. You can see right now, this DB down here has to respect almost a rugby-style kick. They're bringing pressure. This guy comes in. This is kind of what we've seen, pressure over the center. Nebraska has to work on passing some things off, but bringing Buschini out to the right, he has to respect this. And Lloyd is able to slip behind here in a great throw by the punter. Buschini had a fantastic game. Love to see Lloyd maybe taking the sidelines, maybe score. But just that gave Nebraska an opportunity to kind of back Rutgers off a little bit in the punt scheme in the game later on, so Buschini get those big kicks to flip the field.
The quote has kind of been that, Satterfield was in his bag. Here's Foley in his bag with this play.
Well, that's the thing is Foley gets that, but Rule makes the head man has to make the call on that one, right?
Yep.
No doubt. That took some guts.
Yeah, he did. And like you said, he almost did it 2 times before that. Next up on Big Red Wrap-Up, we hear from Coach Rule on the changes in college football. But first, Herd has some great pictures of Nebraska's O-line as we welcome in former Husker O-lineman Jeremiah Searles. Next.
approach or
Oh,
something?
no, I'm a button pusher. There's no doubt. That's my job. There's no doubt. Like I described it to the players today as like it's like the whack-a-mole game, right? Like last year it was turnovers, and then you fix turnovers, boom, and all of a sudden penalties show up. Now you're like penalties. Now it's like field goal block, boom, and then the punt block. And it's like at some point you're trying to. But again, as the years go on, those things get less. The lessons are learned. The lessons I'm talking about or Tony's talking about start being happening amongst the guys. And when people refer to culture, that's really what it is. Again, it goes back to what I said all training camp of. Looking at the schedule before the season and saying what games are easy and what games are hard is not true, and it's not the way of college football anymore. Everyone's got to get that in. Like how many teams lost to teams that you would have never thought Alabama would ever lose to Vandy. You never would have thought maybe USC would lose to Minnesota. The portal, transfers, and it's changed all of it. That's why there's no undefeated NFL teams, right? So, it used to be that a player would say, "Man, I got offered from whomever, Ohio State. I'm going there, But now he might get offered, I might get offered from Blue Mountain State, let's just say. And that's the top school in the country. And they're offering, hey, we'll give you, X amount of money. And another school that's 2 pegs lower on the pecking order of recruiting will say, hey, we'll give you 3 times that. Because for this guy, he's their 15th best recruit. But for them, they're like, well, we can't get those guys. Let's get him. So now that kid's like, do I go there for $50,000 or do I go there for $250,000? So all of a sudden So why were the great teams of the 90s and 2000s, 2010s, why were they so dominant? They stacked up all the talent. And when guys got hurt, the next guy came in was also a Parade All-American. Now the Parade All-Americans are all spreading out a little bit more. So it's just different. So the days of, it's just different now. So I think Indiana is a tremendous example of that. It's a completely different roster this year than it was next year. You guys got stuck with me. Like I said, I didn't get to bring anybody with me. I love Bryant, but he can't play. They didn't let me bring McCaffrey. They didn't let me bring Brian Burns. So we came in here and we just been building with the guys that were here and trying to recruit. Just kind of a little more the old school way.
All right, we'd like to welcome former Husker guard and player agent Jeremiah Sherles joining us here. Your feelings about what he was talking about there and how much things have changed in terms of just the dealing with players.
It's becoming the professionalism of amateur athletics. I mean, you look across the board at what it was when Jay and I were in school, where if someone paid for our meal, you're like, oh, my career in college is over, right? Yeah. They're going to get it done. And now kids are making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. It's turning more into like the NFL. And I think it's going to be a really good thing for college athletics going forward as long as it's properly managed.
When you look at Nebraska, I mean, what do you know about their NIL and just how it's structured? And I mean, obviously you deal with a lot of other schools. What have you learned about how Nebraska runs things?
Yeah, I think they do a top job. I mean, the 1890 initiative's great. I think with the revenue sharing that's going to be coming next year with the university, obviously that's going to continue with things. But the biggest thing that worries me when I talk with these collectives from other universities are the contracts are very unique. They're very different. Every school has different clauses. Some schools have one collective that runs multiple schools. And, a lot of it is just making sure that in every contract the player's protected. And looking at what Nebraska stands for and looking at some of the contracts that I've seen through them, they do a very nice job.
Jeremiah, what is you represent and work with some college NFL linemen. What is a number for good offensive linemen making potentially NIL nowadays?
It varies from school to school. I know that I've had guys that have transferred from SEC to SEC that make close to $300,000 a year. I've had guys that make close to $200,000 a year. I would say the going rate for a starting tackle is probably close to $750,000 a year for a top tier guy. But then you hear about guys, 5-stars coming out of college or high school that are making $500,000 right away. And so I really think it's going to vary from a school to school's budget perspective. But I'm also just very curious how the NCAA is going to structure once the revenue share comes. Does the collective just come as a money on top piece, or are they going to start to put a little bit more of regulations on what the collectives can do on top of the revenue share?
So you have the revenue share. Maybe you have the collective, plus they could still do regular NIL, right?
Absolutely.
All 3 of those things?
Yeah, and that's the thing is you can't take anything away. Right? Once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can't put it back in. You're opening yourself up to litigation. So all of that stuff is going to continue to be prevalent in college athletics. It's just going to continue to get more and more refined. I was really disappointed with the NCAA when they just kind of rolled it out there and said, everyone figure it out for yourselves, because it was just a mess. But I do think Nebraska's done a good job of staying ahead of the curve. I mean, credit to Matt Davidson and that crew and what they've done to stay ahead, because that's how you're going to be competitive in college football.
Jeremiah, we know that number is going to be 22 million for all the schools, and football is saying maybe 12 to 15 is going to be theirs. Any idea, like an equitable way to divide that with your status on? I mean, do you have any clue how they're going to do this?
You know, I think you're going to have to look at it a little bit. The CFL model is probably closer than the NFL model, where you're going to have almost a percentage of your cap can go towards your quarterback, right? And if that's going to be the model, then okay, the percentage of the cap is going to also vary team to team, because that 15 to 12 million is going to look different for maybe a school like Duke or Kansas that has a bigger basketball program.
Right.
And so that's going to be different. The other difference is going to be, the great thing about the NFL is everything is shared. Right? Everyone knows the salary cap is this, every player makes this. You can go up and look at it. No one in college football is going to want to share what they're paying their players, because if I'm at Duke and I'm playing left tackle, and let's say I'm making $300,000, and I know that Ohio State's left tackle is making $700,000, and I'm going to hit the transfer portal, well, I'm going to obviously want to go chase that extra couple $100,000. Right. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the revenue share model rolls, how everyone collaborates, if there is any collaboration, and how that rolls through.
Well, I think the interesting thing, too, is people don't realize is you're dealing with public institutions versus private institutions, and our student athletes going to be employees. So if they're going to be employees in a university, that's public knowledge to potentially say what they're making at a public institution, whereas Notre Dame, Duke, USC, private institutions, they can kind of keep things buttoned down.
Yeah, Penn State,
they can keep things hidden. So it's just kind of a apples to oranges type of situation.
The thing about the employee, I'm glad you brought that up. My partners and I talk about this all the time. The second you become an employee, you're opening up a whole nother can of worms of workers' comp, benefits,
you can be
all
fired.
of that. I mean, you can be fired, all of that. And so I don't necessarily think that it's going to turn into an employee-employer relationship. It's still going to fall under the name of name, image, and likeness, but it's going to be pay for play. Like everyone hides behind that wall that it's not that. That's essentially what it's going to turn into. But the second you go into that employee-employer relationship, that's a whole nother can of worms.
Let's talk about the offensive line play and the run game. In Big Ten play, Nebraska's averaged about 25 carries, about 95 yards, which obviously is not good enough. Who are you blaming? Is it the backs? Is it the line? Is it a mixture? What do you think?
It's a combination of the whole. You know, the run game is so unique. Everything about the run game is unique, and I think everyone can fall into the trap of, oh, it's the running back not hitting the hole, or the offensive line isn't opening the holes big enough. But what it really comes down to is 11 guys executing and going 11 out of 11 on their one-on-one matchups. And what I've seen from the Husker run game so far is it's one guy here or there that's not covering up the linebacker, or the double team's getting split, and it's not just consistently one guy. Everyone is taking their turn. And when that happens, you have inconsistency in the run game. And when you have inconsistency in the run game, it scares offensive coordinators.
Sure.
Every level I've been at, NFL, high school, college, if you don't run the ball effectively early, all of the coordinators start panicking. Well, we can't run the ball today. I guess we better throw it. And it's just hard as an offensive linebacker. Just give it time. Just give it time. But the thing that's really been missing is those explosive runs. Those are the things that when you start saying, how do we get to 150, 160, 200 yards rushing, you got to have some of those explosive runs that go for 20 or 30 yards.
Only 26 right now, 10 plus, which has him 13th in the Big Ten.
Jeremiah, you obviously follow the draft stuff very closely. When you analyze this Nebraska roster of draft-eligible players, and now Sierra Wright would be in that category too, I mean, what are you hearing? Is Tommy Hill still, you know, with his injury, has he slipped down a little bit? What are you hearing on just the draft prospects?
Yeah, you know, I think Tommy Hill is obviously our top prospect coming out. I think it's going to be really interesting how well he runs. Obviously, if you play corner in the National Football League now, you got to be running 4.4, 4.3 at minimum. You're seeing guys like Xavier Worthy running 4.2s. You got to have that catch-up speed. I think guys like Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmaker are making money for themselves in the way that they're playing, continuing, especially the way they're getting after the quarterback. From an offensive line perspective, I think Micah is our best NFL prospect on the front. Now, obviously, he's had his issues going back and forth with some of the coaching staff. I think Ben Hart's going to be more in that free agent range. He's played a ton of football. I mean, he broke my start record 6 years, but no, but I'm not bitter or anything. You know, but I think he's a guy.
Ben Scott, too, undrafted free agent, or what do you think?
I think Ben Scott has a chance to be drafted. It's a very talented interior offensive line class this year.
A lot of old guys.
A lot of old guys. This is actually the perfect storm of every sixth-year COVID player, every 5th year, every 4th year, and then the players that also don't have COVID years. This is maybe going to be an 18 to 1900 kid draft class.
Wow.
It's going to be enormous. And so you're going to have guys that have 4th, 5th round grades that go undrafted just because there's only 256 spots.
Right. No doubt.
I want to go back to the run game for a second. Nebraska, you've seen 3 backs. You've seen Dowdell, you've seen Ramir, you've seen Emmett, and Gabe Ervin at times, mainly those first 3, majority. Through the first 6 games, do you like one of those guys better in the run game, the fit, what Nebraska's trying to do offensively?
I think Dowdell probably is the one that I would lean heavier on with the attitude type runs. Obviously, he had the fumble early, which I hate. I mean, ball security is job security. But I love the combination of Emmett and Dowdell. They're such different players. They really bring different skill sets, and it can really keep a defense a little bit on their toes. I love Ramir as more the 3rd down back chance, and also that guy will put his face in the linebacker and pass block. And if I'm watching backs, that's one of my number 1 things that I'm grading is, hey, when it's time and you got to meet a Mike linebacker in the A-gap, are you up there? Are you cutting him? Are you doing it? And he will go up there and thump him. But if I had to give the nod, I just appreciate the way Dowdell runs between the tackles.
Ramir is the only back in Big Ten play for Nebraska that's averaging over 4 yards a carry.
Yeah,
Everybody else is below that. So.
Yeah, and he's the one that I expect more of those explosive runs to come from. Right, he's the more of the veteran guy. And I mean, last year when he went out, our run game went to nothing. And so it's just a blessing to be able to have him back there and kind of lead that younger group.
I'm curious, Dylan Raiola, what are your circles at the highest level saying about him? Is he on at least the conversation radar already?
Oh yeah. I mean, I talked to scouts across the league, like, you guys got a guy, right? Like, and that's what it means. And anytime you have a guy like Dylan, you know you're going to give yourself a chance to win every football game. I mean, you're only as good as your quarterback at every level, and you need a guy that can be the trigger man. And you talk about the NFL, there's probably only given 19 to 20 guys that I would say are true starting quarterbacks in the NFL every year. It's a hard thing to do. And so to have a freshman that's coming in and performing the way he does, he's putting himself in the conversation to be a draft pick even in 3 years.
I saw a survey that ESPN did, and 5 different quarterbacks were picked to be the number 1 overall. Because they really don't know who it is.
No.
For you, have you seen one that you'd say definitely should be the first overall?
I haven't. You know, all these guys, and last year was such a great quarterback class too, and then you start looking at this year's quarterback class. I mean, Shadur's up there, but then you start saying, okay, the NFL is going to look at all the other stuff that comes from not just being a talent perspective, but being an NFL. You've been in NFL locker rooms. To be an NFL quarterback, it's not just about talent. You have to be a great leader of men that are 31 years old and have a family. I mean, and it's a tough thing to do. So you look around, you see Carson Beck in Georgia, and you see some of those other guys. I have not seen a guy that has separated himself to be the clear number 1.
I saw Milroe listed at one point.
No.
I'm like, I like him as an athlete, but if you're throwing less than 30 yards, I'm not sure I want that guy throwing the ball.
No, I mean, if you look at the state of the quarterback play in the NFL right now, you've got to be able to air that thing out and throw it as far as you can. I mean, look at Miami. They're scrambling for anyone that can be a quarterback right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sticking with the quarterbacks, getting back to run game, would you like to see Harburg implemented more from QB run game going forward, just to try to get the wheels in motion and get really the defense to respect it and spend maybe an extra 10 to 15, 20 minutes preparing for it?
Yeah, you know, I think I would like to see him get a package, a Wildcat type package, but at the same time, I also understand from Satterfield and Rule's perspective of we can't get our backup quarterback hurt.
Sure.
Right, if you put Harburg out there and he sprains an ankle or something, you're immediately going, man, now we got to be so much more careful with Dylan. We have to be a little bit more careful. But I do think there's definitely ways to get packages. But the blessing that we have as an offense, we have playmakers everywhere.
Right.
I mean, we have guys all over the field that don't feel like Harburg's just the guy that can go in there and make something happen. But I would like to see him get at least 5 to 8 plays a game with that special package. Just like you said, it makes the defense practice things during the week that prepare for us.
Yeah, and red zone. Have a quarterback that's mobile in the red zone. That's such a big plus.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do we see Adrian Martinez run the zone read and from 5 yards in just walk into the end zone? I mean, the running back is always accounted for in the red zone and run game. The quarterback's the guy that you always have to kind of not account for in order if you want to cover everything. So I think that would be a great wrinkle to bring in too, especially down the low red when you get inside the 10-yard line.
Hey, I know Brett Maher's a guy you're close with.
Oh, yeah.
He can't be on the golf course with you guys anymore. He's working. But, I mean, what is his presence meant, just having him around those kickers and punters?
It's huge. I mean, anytime you can have an NFL player that played, kicked in big games, was in big games, come back and just give that knowledge back. And when you think about the NFL, if you have struggles with a kicker or a snapper, usually it's like, just cut him, bring someone else in.
Yeah.
But college football is about developing young men. It's about helping them through their struggles. It's about helping them overcome these things. When you have a guy like Brett that's been through ups and downs, he can really help these guys from a developmental standpoint and also just a situational standpoint, understanding, hey, here's the kicking situation. Here's what we need. Here's where you need to put the ball. Here's the way you need to do things. You cannot bring that kind of experience onto the sideline, and guys are just going to gravitate towards it.
Mick, our producer, made us pick how many games Nebraska won over his last 6. What's your feel based off that schedule?
I think we can definitely go 4-2
go.
in the last 6 years. Looking at the schedule, you look through, Indiana's going to be a great test. I think they're a very talented football team. UCLA, I feel good about. And then you really look at USC, Wisconsin, Iowa. Ohio State, I think, is going to be an L. That team is ridiculous.
Yeah.
If we keep it within 10 there, I think that's a win for us. But if you go look at from the other talent perspective, I think we have a chance to win every single one of those games.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The Indiana one, as good as they are, we can talk about who they played. They really haven't seen a defense like this. And it's also on grass, slows them a little bit. It feels like a good matchup.
Absolutely, and you watch what Northwestern did to them last week. They really tested them in between the tackles and got after them. But Indiana's offense, I think they're averaging close to 40 points a game, if not more. So, it's going to be a great test for this defense to go up against that hasn't allowed a rushing touchdown, doing all that fun stuff. But at the same time, I think it's going to be more about our offense executing, because if we leave that defense out on the field as long as we have the last couple of times, they're going to start to wear out a little bit.
Yeah, they're number 1 in the Big Ten in scoring offense and number 3 in the country. So obviously they're pretty good. But it still could be a good matchup for Nebraska.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Jeremiah, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely. Anytime. Appreciate you guys.
Like having you come in. Next up on Big Red Wrap-Up, Sean Callahan will update us on the latest commitment. But first, Herd at Sports has some great shots of Nebraska's tough defense. We'll chat about the Big Ten the rest of the way when we get back after this.
Remember when we had you on as a kid?
All right, let's jump into the top plays. Number 3, the 69-yarder in the fourth quarter to help seal the win. What a great bounce it took. And as Sean said earlier, they actually practiced this. One of the last things they did before the game started, and it worked out great all the way down to 11. Second half, passing leader Brian Buschini with a 30-yard pass to Jalen Lloyd. Should have been a touchdown. He would normally make that guy miss. That was just a great tackle, getting one hand in there, very close to getting a touchdown and really changing the feel of that game completely. And then number 1, the top play goes to the defense again. This week by a large margin. Great plays down the goal line. A 5-play goal line stand that almost ended in the interception that really won the game for Nebraska. Let's get to recruiting now. Welcome back inside Big Red Wrap-Up, inside the studios here at Nebraska Public Media. I'm Michael Severe, joined by Sean Callahan to talk some recruiting. So we talked about this guy last week. Saturday he commits. Let's talk about the latest commit.
Yeah, Davion Bonwell-Whitty out of Sioux Falls, Washington, made it official to Nebraska here over the weekend. A 6'2" wide receiver, ranked 3 stars. He had offers this summer from Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Kansas State. Nebraska offered him at camp in June after his workout. He's a 4.5 guy, ran 10.9 electronic as a sophomore, so he's big, he can run, and one of the top receivers in this 500-mile radius. Made it known that he always wanted to be a Husker. In fact, was prepared to commit a few weeks ago. And his father said, hey, let's wait till we get down there. Let's tell him in person. No need to rush this. And they held off and they waited till the Rutgers game to make it official.
You watch his tape, looks a little bit like Quincy Enunwa.
Yeah, and
That's what it reminds me of.
he's got a lot of upside. I mean, I think
time.
for Nebraska to go on a wide receiver this early, it tells you how much they like him, because they're going to be able to get receivers in Nebraska with the Raiolas playing quarterback here the next few years.
No doubt. Let's get to our featured recruit.
Yeah, our featured recruit tonight, Bryson Weber, is a big, long-range corner out of Missouri City, Texas. The Huskers beat out TCU for him. And, this was an Evan Cooper guy originally early on. And he was kind of on the fence with his commitment, making it official. And then he met John Butler and obviously saw John Butler's background accolades.
Yep.
And John Butler was able to really secure his pledge. But I think one of the better players, a borderline 4-star level guy. And that's a lot of Matt Rhule recruits. They're always kind of like a top-end 3-star that has a 4-star NFL potential.
Yeah.
And Bryson Weber as a near 6'3" corner is exactly what you want to see.
6'5" with that hair, though, without a doubt. In-state recruit, let's talk about that.
Ren Brown out of Stanton, Nebraska, 8-man player, committed to Texas Tech. And we had Ren last year in the Nebraska High School State Championships here. His team won the 8-man D-Class D1 title. They are number 1 again. They're probably one of the more talented 8-man teams you're ever going to see. I mean, they have at least 3 to 4 legitimate guys that are, Division II, in his case, Power 4 level players. And Ren, they have the state champion shot putter. I mean, they are loaded for an 8-man team. Ren Brown leads the way up front. And it was really between 2 teams for him, Oregon State and Texas Tech. And Oregon State does recruit Nebraska because of, the former ties here.
Sure.
We've had so many people coach at Nebraska over the last 10 years. There's a lot of people that claim ties, and there's connections on Oregon State staff. And then Texas Tech came up here and was able to get him.
No doubt about that. Sean, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's check out the early results from this week's survey on how you think Nebraska will close out Coach Rhule's second season. Updated results, 52% say between 3rd and 8th, getting a bowl bid. 14 through 18, wow, 39% are very negative. And 6% borderline bowl, and then 3% say Nebraska ending up in the Big Ten championship game. This week around the Big Ten, Indiana moved, as we know, to 6-0, their first 6-0 since 1967. They're also the first only FBS team to have qualified for a bowl game this season. It hasn't gone as well for the new West Coast members of the conference, totaling a 5-6 record in the first half of league play. Going from across time zones has not been good for those guys. On the bright side, Oregon is one of 3 Big Ten teams that occupied 3 of the top 4 spots in the AP poll after last week's carnage. Let's look at the Big Ten in the top 25. Oregon at number 3, Ohio State at number 2, Penn State at 4 with the big game against USC this week, Indiana at 18, Illinois at 25, and Michigan at 24. As we mentioned, USC dropped out, but that's a big game for Penn State this week. And then, we talked about this before, Big Ten versus SEC, having meetings. Talk about that, Sean.
Yeah, over the next couple of days, starting on Wednesday and Thursday, both SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey and Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti, along with every athletic director from the 16 SEC schools and the 18 Big Ten teams, are going to be in Nashville for a summit, a meeting, as they want to collaborate for the future. These 2 leagues know they control the major television networks, they control the money, they control the bowl games, they control everything where this is all heading. They have the most NIL across the board, and I think they want to collaborate and come with a plan, number 1, to ensure that they can get 4 playoff spots guaranteed per league. By doing that, then you can go ahead and schedule as aggressive as you want. You don't have to worry about protecting Alabama or Georgia because you don't want to blow them in a game in the season that might cost them the playoff spot. By going to this model, you can have as many great games in the regular season and know that your league is going to get 4 teams in. They want to have a bowl game arrangement as well, and then an SEC Big Ten annual arrangement where you play a game from those leagues every year.
And you don't want to lose a bowl bid in the SEC championship game or Big Ten championship game either. Helps that way as well.
Yeah, I think just in general, they want to kind of come on the same page. The big sticking point, though, is the SEC does remain at 8 conference games, and they have to get to 9. And I think ideally, both leagues should be at 9 each, plus a cross-conference game. Then you'd have 2 group of 5 developmental games where you can play and get guys ready to go. But I think that's where it's heading, and Troy Dannon will be there the next couple of days.
Yeah, and they want more money, of course, from TV if they're going to go to 9.
It's always about the money.
It's always about the money. The biggest surprise, obviously, is Indiana and the way they're playing. I was sure they'd get to a bowl game based off the schedule and the confidence of Curt Cignetti, who's never lost anywhere. Just Google him, he'll tell you. But still, I mean, what they've done has really been impressive.
No, it has. I mean, Florida International and Charlotte, but yeah, I mean, they went to UCLA and handled them. You know, they traveled a couple time zones and played in the Rose Bowl and handled UCLA.
Turned over the ball against Maryland, but still.
But still, what 42-28 against Maryland. Go on the road against Northwestern. I know Northwestern's their glorified high school stadium they're playing in right now. Their stadium is getting into construction. Isn't the scariest place to play, but again, you go on the road, and Northwestern's always a gritty, grimy. Those are tough teams. Listen, they're much improved. I think when you looked at Nebraska's first 6 games, you saw Illinois, Indiana as a plus. They're like, okay, Nebraska easily could go, 7-0 before Ohio State, but we didn't realize how good Illinois and Indiana were going to be.
Heck, Rutgers.
Yeah, Rutgers as well. I mean, so Cignetti's got them playing well. The offense is high-powered. Quarterback's playing well, and the defense is making plays as well when they need to. So it's going to be a tough test in 10 days when they go to Bloomington.
Yeah, Sean, any theories on why the West Coast teams are struggling? Besides the fact that they're playing Big Ten football now.
This is one area where Nebraska has quite an advantage because literally they're right in the middle, and they're not going to deal with these same travel issues when they go west or east.
Right.
Penn State's got a 5.5-hour flight where they're going to have to bus to Harrisburg, fly cross country on Thursday to play Saturday. There's just a lot of new elements. To see Minnesota, though, beat USC. I mean, when you look at the talent differences, people know USC's got better players.
Yeah.
But this league's hard. I mean, I think Nebraska fans learn that too. You can't just expect to win in this league because you're Nebraska. I mean, this league will grind on you, and some of these newer teams are learning that.
USC, the last 10 times they've gone Central Time Zone or Eastern Time Zone, 0 for 10. So going east, we always talked about how difficult it can be, but it's also going and playing a place you haven't played before. You're going into Minnesota, a team that plays different than you. It was one thing playing in the Big 8 or the Big 12 where you knew every team.
Totally.
These are completely new for them.
Yeah, it is. It's a whole different scenario. I think we, as Nebraska fans, we've definitely learned this the hard way. I think from the outside looking in, from the Big 12 or even the Big 8, you saw 17-10 football games.
Yep.
You saw 13-10. Iowa versus Purdue and these grinder games, like, God dang, these guys aren't very good. But you got in here, it's like, man, these are well-coached teams. They play all 3 phases very, very well. Special teams never make mistakes, good defenses. And you see multiple NFL draft picks coming out of each and every school every year. So I think it's just not a rude awakening. It's hard, man. It is hard to win in the Big Ten. And I hope people realize being 5-1 for these first 6 games, like, hey, Nebraska's in a good spot.
Yeah, and the Big Ten's always got great offensive linemen and cornerbacks, too. Let's go to our picture winner for the week. Time to check out the best game day photo sent to us this week. Oh, look how cute that is. This winner, game day picture post, of course, is a defense theme, and it goes to Emily and her son, Brantley, who is throwing the bones right there, just like a young Jay Moore when he played for the Black Shirts. That's a pretty awesome picture.
Doing a good job.
Mom will get a gray Nebraska Public Media Sports t-shirt, so keep sending in your game day pictures to win. Let's go to social media now. In the world of social media, this portion of the Big Red Wrap is brought to you by the number 1 and the letter W. From the Cornhusker memes, the count reminds us that the Huskers are just 1 win away from being bowl eligible. Ha, 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 ha. And from fake Matt Rule, it's time to celebrate a close win in a 1-score game. It's been a long time since Nebraska got that, but got it right there. This portion of the show now is brought to you by the viewers, because we're going to answer your viewer questions. We start off with saying, I was hoping you could shed some light on my confusion regarding the pylon placement configuration of the end zone pylons at the Purdue game. I don't know.
I'm
not familiar with what they were talking about there.
Were they not right on the corners of
The back pylons are always further back.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. You don't want to have them right on the line. The line's there to do that.
You have always the end zone ones that you want right there on the goal line,
Right,
so you
yeah.
can reach out and obviously the ball touches those pylons on the goal line. That's a touchdown.
He was just a little upset about that and the way it was set up. That's fine. That's okay. Let's talk a little bit about what Nebraska has going forward. We've talked about Indiana and what they have, but an Ohio State team. Nebraska's had a couple of times where they've gone against some really good Ohio State teams, twice, and actually challenged them. What would Nebraska have to do, in your opinion, to be able to do that this year against this team?
Yeah, I think they have to get off to a good start. I think they have to get the offense going. The defense got to get settled in against that high-powered offense and those good wide receivers that they have. Listen, that Ohio State's quarterback, though, he's gotten away with some throws so far this year. That Michigan State game, I mean, Michigan State dropped a couple picks in one in the end zone that they easily could have, saved a touchdown. So they'll have their opportunities, but they have to get off to a good start. And when they're special teams, again, I know this is the bugaboo, right?
Yeah.
But being able to flip the field like we see with Buschini, that's always a big deal. Those hidden yardage, when it's not going your way, flipping that field, kind of keeping that momentum off you. But that start's huge in Columbus in 3 weeks?
The other big game, USC, there was a thought early on that maybe that game would be at 9 o'clock at night, right? But with both these teams having pretty good records, that's probably not going to happen.
I just have a hard time seeing CBS or NBC passing that game. Look, I understand it's probably not going to be on Fox. They're not going to play a game in LA at 9 in the morning.
Right.
I mean, this is not going to happen. But I do think it's USC's homecoming as well. It doesn't really matter when they pick these games now. But yeah, to me, that strikes me as a CBS
2:30
or a NBC game right now. On one of those three big spots. When you look at the other games on paper, it looks like it should be one of the three best picks of the weekend.
Yeah. Last thing, as a defensive guy, you sit there and you watch that goal line stand. It must just made you feel great.
It was. What I loved is what beat them against Illinois.
Right.
They fixed Singleton's play on the slot motion and him coming off on man coverage, avoiding the rub routes.
Yep.
That's big time ball. Goal line stands, fantastic. I mean, Nash and Ty stuffing them in there. That's play by Singleton. That's why I love it. You saw something got you beat just a couple weeks ago. You improved. You got better from it. You allow it to beat you again. That's what good defenses do.
Sean, burning question.
My burning question is, can Nebraska get their special teams tuned up over the bye week where they're at least just serviceable, where they can not make it such a liability?
Yeah, my biggest thing is bye week, right? Don't overthink it. You have a time to self-scout. A lot of time. Don't overthink it. Don't try to do too much. Fix what you need to get fixed. Get healthy, and get ready for this next 6 games.
And my burning question is, can Nebraska get the running game, especially the running game going, because they're going to need that over the last 6 games in order to be able to finish, like several of us do, 4-2. Don't forget to head to the website, the Facebook page, our X account, and click on the prediction. Jay, Sean, and I will tell you exactly what to expect for the rest of the season in Big Ten play. Matter of fact, we actually do our picks there as well. Next week, we'll get you ready for the Indiana game, and we'll recap the bye as well. And look, you can see how it is. Tuesday live at 7 p.m. Central on World and 10 p.m. Central on Nebraska Public Media. Of course, you can always watch on Facebook and YouTube as well. Our thanks to Jeremiah Searles. For Jay Moore and Sean Callahan, I'm Michael Severe. We'll see you next week on Big Red Wrap-Up.